What is up, everyone? Welcome to Here's Avenue. My name is Darren, and boy oh boy, I did have to do some digging for some news today, but I did. I came out successful. I have a few news topics to talk about, but before I get started, I wanted to let you guys know our new schedule, our new posting schedule. So we'll be posting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we're gonna read your comments on Sunday. All right, and yeah, let's get to it. All right, so the first story of the day is this Justice Society topic. So yesterday, Rob talked about how Dr. Fate is being made into a movie, and so today we got to cover this freaking blog website. They're just going crazy with these rumors. They have a close source, and it's telling them that DC is making a Justice Society of America movie, and that is crazy because DC just developed Justice League, and that was a complete bomb. So now they're going for a Justice Society route, but it's a little different because at this point we are going to see the characters prior to that movie, with the Hawkman, Stargirl, and Adam being rumored in Black Adam, and then Dr. Fate having his own movie. We're going to see the team prior to, they're not gonna just meet up in Justice Society, and so yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting on how they go about it, and I'm wondering if it's actually going to happen. I'm sure it's not purely confirmed yet. I'm sure they don't even have a date yet, just because I'm sure they have to wait until how Shazam performs and how all these other movies performs as well. As well as they have to see how Black Adam performs, because Hawkman's in there, the Adam's in there as well, and then I think if all goes well, I think they're gonna do the Justice Society movie, and I think it's about time. I think at that point in the DCU, we're gonna see so many films at that point, and they're gonna the universe is gonna be at a different place. DC's gonna rebuild their brand. The narrative of DC films is going to be completely changed, if all goes well, and then boom, Justice Society. And I think after that, I think they're going to go for Justice League 2. I think at that point we're going to be ready. I think having two team up movies, or two Justice movies, I think that would be really dope, and you would really feel like you're in the DC universe. And so for those that aren't familiar with the Justice Society and can't really distinguish the two between them and Justice League, the Justice Society is actually the first superhero team in comics back in the 1940s, in the golden age of comic books. It had Hourman, it had Hawkman, Green Lantern, the Flash, the Spectre, Sandman, and Adam. And then I think that was back in 1940s, and then a few years later, the comic book did go away, and then DC wanted to reinvent the Justice team and then brought in Justice League, and then they did take some characters from Justice Society into Justice League. That's why we have Flash and Green Lantern in there. But to distinguish the two and to keep them alive, they made Justice League Earth 1, and then they made Justice Society Earth 2. That's why if you guys were reading New 52 Earth 2, that was the JSA pretty much. I actually did read that book. That was a quite interesting book. I was really excited to see how they would make Alan Scott, because in that comic book, the Green Lantern, Alan Scott, DC turned him homosexual. It was a really crazy take, but I feel like it fit the character a lot. I didn't finish the book. I'm curious on how that book fleshed out. I did read, I think I read the first 2 arcs of that. I think it was really good. But besides that, I've seen the JSA, in Smallville, and then we see them in, we saw, Hawkman and Hawkgirl in League of Legends, or not League of Legends of Tomorrow. And I think every time they bring in some of the members of the JSA, I think they've done pretty well. I feel like every time they adapted Hawkman, he looked badass every time, especially in Smallville. Smallville's Hawkman and Dr. Fate, I think they were freaking spot on. If you guys watched Smallville back then, let me know in the comments below, because I'm having a hard time finding some Smallville fans. All right, so the next topic that I want to talk about is this James Gunn Suicide Squad. So yes, he's back in the news again, but this time it looks like James Gunn is going to be rumored to be adding Killer Frost. And this is coming from also a movie blog called Discussing Film. I've never heard of this blog before, so take this with a grain of salt. But they're hearing from their rumor, from their source, that Killer Frost is going to be in it. They don't know which iteration of Killer Frost. I think this makes sense. I mean, we've seen Killer Frost before in the comic books and as well in the animated movie. I think she was done perfectly well in the animated movie. And to see her on live action in the big screen, especially with competing against her her TV side with Caitlin Snow, I think would be a crazy contrast. I think the movie version of Killer Frost could definitely do her justice. But let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about Killer Frost being added to Suicide Squad. All right, so this third story of today is this Captain Marvel sequel from Kevin Feige. So Kevin Feige, he hinted at us on what Captain Marvel sequel could possibly be like, and it looks like he hinted that it could be before Endgame, just because spoiler if you guys haven't watched Captain Marvel, I'm warning you now, but in Captain Marvel, at the end of it, she flies off to space to end the Kree and Skrull war. And then by Endgame, with the mid-credit scene, we see her coming back and asking where Nick Fury is, and basically we don't know what happened between those two timelines. And so he's hinting that Captain America or Captain Marvel 2 could possibly explore that, and I think that will be, I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean they're kind of taking notes from Wonder Woman. It is what it is at this point, but it just naturally ends up becoming that way. Especially if you base a character from the past, you have to, explore what she's doing between the present and the first time the world saw her. And this interview is coming from ET. I think this was from the Captain Marvel premiere. So there it is right there. I think that, again, I think it's really cool. I know a lot of our subscribers aren't a huge fan of Captain Marvel, but for those that did watch Captain Marvel, how do you guys feel about Captain Marvel sequel being based on the Kree and Skrull war? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so our final story of the day has to do with the Spider-Verse. So Sony's chairman Tony Vinciquerra, I might have pronounced that wrong, but he teased that they already laid out 6 to 7 years for the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse universe, or Spider-Verse. And it has to do with both film and TV, not just the film side. And I think this is getting way ahead of themselves, but you can't blame them because they just won an Oscar. From what I've seen with the Spider-Pig special on the Into the Spider-Verse digital release, man, they did like a little Spider-Pig short. It was hilarious. I can't get enough of him. I think that character is hilarious. Almost as good as Porky Pig. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like the modern day Porky Pig at this moment. I think it's so funny. So I think if they use the same approach of how they executed Spider Pig, I think they could do so much better. I think they're gonna make so much success. The way they approached Spider Pig was so creative and so funny. And they just embrace the wackiness of cartoons. I love that. I love how they did that. And so since they are going to play around with different universes, and by the way, they set themselves up in the perfect spot to do anything they want. They could play with alternate universes, what if storylines, that was actually rumored. And I think they can even go back to the past of the 90s and bring in the Spider-Man Unlimited and the Spider-Man 2099. I think that would be really dope. You'll get that nostalgia factor as well as all the gamers in, and bringing Spider-Man 2099. How they had the mid-credit scene. I think that was a perfect spot for a sequel, or maybe a third film after they do the Gwen Stacy film. That was actually announced as well, or I guess rumored back then. So yeah, they're in a perfect spot, and so I don't blame them for laying out the 6 to 7 years. I just hope they don't get too ahead of themselves like how a lot of franchises do. I just remember how like, you know, when when Power Rangers first came out, you know, the most recent one, and when it was about to hit the big screen, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we already made like 6 or 7 scripts, or we're planning 6 or 7 movies down the road. We're ready for this huge universe, and it just fell on his face. But with Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, I mean, they're in a different position because they did win an Oscar, and the film was hugely critically acclaimed. That movie was by far one of my favorite films of the year, one of my top 5 at least. And so yeah, I think they're gonna do really well. I think if they keep, you know, making movies like how they did with Into the Spider-Verse, and just embracing it and just making everything like crazy and creative, I think they have a good thing in their hands. But I am so excited for this. But yeah, that is all for today. Let me know in the comments below on how you guys feel about all these topics. How do you guys feel about Justice Society? A bigger Spider-Verse, and how you guys feel about Killer Frost being put into the Suicide Squad. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us at Heroes Avenue on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. What is going on, everyone? Just as a reminder, me and Rob are going to start doing a schedule for our channel. So we're going to start posting Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and then we're going to post our viewer comments on Sunday. You're going to see our schedule right here. And yeah, so if you guys do post any comments throughout the week, or if you guys ask us a question on any of our social media platforms, we'll definitely post it on our Sunday video. So definitely look forward to that, and look forward to some more changes in the future. You guys have a good one.